people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 37 of the Greatest Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we did some more exploring around, more or less aimless investigation for the sake of trying to find something to do that we could check out. And as it turned out, thanks to story mode, just helping to guide me, we did not look at book, and looking at that one book allowed us to meet the coroner, basically Dr. Courtney Scythe. And we talked to her a bit, didn't really learn much, and then we went back to the Waxwork Museum where we were offered by Sherlock to investigate the scary exhibit here. Ooh, 5 shillings we've had to pay. It doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it? Hey, it's my cut of the profits! What is the waxwork lady going to do? What is Toothpaste going to do, Mr. Naruto? Is she going to fight me? Because if she does, then she is going for one heck of a battle, because she will have to go up against not only me and my dances of death, but she'll also have to fight Iris. And I knew Iris does not play fair. Iris will bite, and she will also kick. You have seen her kick, Mr. Naruto. She's like a kangaroo, only with more ferocity. Now, we could ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills. Yes, the circle of extortion. Yes, the circle of extortion. Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Don't forget the scientists that get fiddled. Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands, or chip-loving inspectors. Not to mention little girls who run the police. Don't forget the little girls who run the police. I love Ryunosuke. He just knows better than to lump Iris in with that group. Inspector Grayson comes up as rather well on that list, I think. Okay, let's see what's behind here. 23rd of October, Madame Tuspel's special exhibit. Yes, the headless zombie. Oh dear, I felt the shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here. Miss Susato! CzarThwomp's still dying for some odd reason. I say we turn on our heels and go straight home, via a really big confectionery. We certainly can't do that. We paid 5 shillings already, Mr. Naruto. I am not losing out on my deposit. True. Actually, now that I'm looking a little more closely, we've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. I swear, I love how much this game just throws around the phrases fiddling and diddling. Aha! I have diddled you, Mr. Naruto. Now your shillings are mine. This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do a 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we? Yes, we will get what we paid for. Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble? Well, now we know where Phoenix's frugality comes from. This is what, yeah, every time Phoenix doesn't pay Apollo properly, Susato is in the spirit world just nodding in approval. Yes, Phoenix, cut his pay. Pay him nothing. He pays us for the pleasure of working for us. Okay, let's get the owl. Okay. Let's see what else is here. Okay, you know me, I like to investigate everything that is present. Yeah, I love how for 5 shillings worth of stuff, we can investigate virtually nothing. It doesn't matter if they're here in Britain or in Japan. Graveyards are scary. Now that I come to think of it, this is the first time I've seen a British grave. According to what I read, the custom in Britain is to bury the dead as they are, without cremation. What? But if you do that, you might accidentally bury people while they're still alive. I'm not sure that would be worse than accidentally incinerating people while they're still alive. Care to explain any parts of your family history, Ryunosuke? I think we can both agree that it's best not to be still alive when our time comes then. And what am I to say to that?
This must be the killer, the fiend known as the Professor.
Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tuspel said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble or royal blood.
The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place.
I know, it looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? And CzarThwomp forgot to turn the timer on. Hooray! Okay, I'm staying on a weird position because my controller's plugged into the charger, and the charger cord has no range to it. Okay. No. Oh, no. I'm tipping back. Okay, good. Got the timer started.
If only it had a head, that is.
Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Yes, examine the hands.
So this is the condemned man.
Yes, the so-called professor.
Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine. But unable to find a piece, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost.
Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Miss Susato? Anyways, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see?
Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absentmindly forgot to reattach it.
Yeah, no. That's the trophy for this case. Basically, right next to the bust of Napoleon, Sherlock has put the head of the professor on his shelf, and he'll never forget what it was for, and then he'll basically use it as a doorstop. That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it?
Or perhaps the thief absentmindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum.
And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh! There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. It looks like a piece of broken glass, and quite a big piece too.
It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say.
Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder?
I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength.
But why?
Well, perhaps because the glass had to be to span a particularly wide area, such as a big building, for example.
Ah, well, we've seen the large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass had broken too.
You don't mean...
Exactly, the Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition.
But why would glass in the Crystal Tower be lodged inside the Waxwork's jacket?
It makes you think, doesn't it? The piece of glass has been added. Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. And now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence? Okay, anything? Okay.
This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real.
It seems to be a young man in a white overcoat.
And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look.
Perhaps we should investigate it in a little more detail. Oh, come on, Ryunosuke. You could bring in the shovel versus spade argument into this. We gotta investigate it. The shovel.
What a large shovel. He's holding it rather ominously, isn't he? What on earth was the man doing it with a shovel in the graveyard in the middle of the night?
Mr. Sato?
Yes?
That's a spade, isn't it?
No, it's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
It's a graveyard, Ryunosuke. What else would he be doing there? Oh, yeah, he's gonna be scooping up dead leaves or something. He's digging a grave, i.e. it's a shovel. You've been through this, Mr. Naruto. It's a shovel.
No. Although, we haven't considered trowels. Now you're just grasping for straws, Ryunosuke.
We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement.
So we're going to bury the hatchet. You're right, though. What was the man doing in the graveyard in the first place? That's the real question. What's this here?
Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera.
A camera? But so small. British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints?
I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyways, why would the man in the graveyard be in a graveyard at night with a camera?
I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film. Yes, it's like Fatal Frame.
We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think.
The camera has been added.
By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken.
What's a photographic plate?
It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look.
You should see yourself, Suzasan. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you? Yeah, too bad Phoenix didn't get that same penchant for machines. The machines hate Phoenix. Oh look, the cover came open.
Yes, now, there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see?
Is something wrong?
There's no plate. It's been removed.
Ah, what a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the Waxwork isn't the actual person. So we'd never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyways.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course.
Poor Susato-san, she looks devastated.
What a wonderful machine!
You really love contraptions like this, don't you?
Oh yes, anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible.
Almost irresistible, surely?
Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart.
That's worrying.
Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch. He can't have nice things because of me.
Poor Professor Mikatoba.
Look, Mr. Naruto.
What is it?
On the bellows just here, there seems to be some very dark red stains.
Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually.
Oh my!
I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Huh. Okay. There we go. Let's go back to our investigation. Yes, we have to know about the disturbing exhibit. Come on. Come on, let me tilt. Yeah, I have to tilt awkwardly to see the face. I can't see the face very well, can you? Perhaps I just...
Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruto?
It's fine, Susato. And then basically, Inosuke rips off the Waxwork's head. I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. Ah!
What on earth? How can...
I don't believe it. A black monocle!
Mr. Naruto, is it possible that this man is...
Yes. It's Enoch Drebber. He was so scared by the ghost that his hair turned white.
The color of his hair is different, but it's
unmistakably him. I don't know who's talking here. Indeed it is, Mr. Sholmes. This man is the subject of your present aunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved with my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, tout de suite, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations, or she will consume me, Mr. Naruto.
Do you know, though, something about this room? Something about this room is strange.
Strange? What do you mean?
Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not?
Indeed they are, Mr. Zato. Do go on.
And, as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it?
I think it's time I educate you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had the throats ripped from their bodies.
Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful!
After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain. You understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried to a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean the professor's identity? As you surmise, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair.
Oh?
The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene, as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat. Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen and, oh god, my computer's getting really hot. The young witness. So this is a Waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of the night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old.
It's so horrifying.
Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created at Madame Tuspel's.
I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night.
Yes, what? What was he up to? Grave robbing, Ryunosuke. The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a large dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, and then Shirhan Dogen comes around 100 years later to basically pick up the mantle. Yes, I can imagine the impact that case must have had. But in times, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale.
But why did people stop believing it?
Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution.
No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society, and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. I was like, what the bleeding Nora Odo? What have you gotten done? Gina, what are you doing here? I'm gonna stop you from diddling the statue. Stop diddling, Odo. I asked Iris, and she said this is where you'd be, so... Gina, not so loud in the museum. Madame Duspels will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern. I still had some flash power left from 6 months ago, so I'm gonna pop a cap in your ass. All right, Gina, we understand, but please put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it. We found that dodgy cove's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Yup, Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag. So come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write down. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. All right then. See you there. And now inside. You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still and sad. What? I know my place. In the exhibit over there. Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes, you're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madame would have paid me monetary recompense in Iris's dinner plate. And forget that, I'll pay for everything. And Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once. You'll be paying for that carriage. No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then. Hey, you heard him, Ryunosuke. He has to pay for Iris's dinner. Otherwise, Iris will make you pay in even worse ways. I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruto. Thank you, Mr. Sato. Right, let's go. Yeah, if that happened in basically the main series Ace Attorney games, basically Mario would be like, "Nick, you're paying for the whole thing, as well as for my burger lunch." Drebber's workshop. That looks like... Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Indeed it would appear so, though only a prototype naturally. Ah, so you got it. So you got it then. Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time, you've really worked miracles. It's Toby here, who's the miracle worker. Oh, I thought you lot would show up before long. If I don't look at Ames, her ladyship can't appear. Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. That's because her ladyship blinded me when she found out about Paris. She hurt somehow, and so she blinded me to keep me here. And he looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer? Sadly not. We did find a soul here. Oh, what a shame. Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say, go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Thank you. Anyways, if you're hoping to snoop around here, I think I'll get cracking. North Isaacs and the forensic investigation team are on their way as we speak. Then again, I imagine you got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Right.
Sorry there, my dear fellows. Let's turn this place upside down whilst we still have the chance.
And you, Sholmes. Pardon? They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do lawyers.
Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model.
Right then, let's see what we can find in here. Okay. Trophy. Okay, let's see this.
Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? A participation trophy.
It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would go away soon.
It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah, would you like a massage?
No, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing.
I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruto? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course.
He's not going to let that go, is he?
Never! It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times.
The side trophy has been entered into the court record. There's a little metal plaque here, look. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery.
It seems rather ironic, doesn't it?
But clearly, Mr. Drebber really was a very talented scientist. Yes, I love how Enoch Drebber invented the airplane. Okay, let's investigate the airplane. What on earth is this?
An aeroplane, Mr. Naruto. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the sky.
Is that how the trick will be described, is it?
Sorry?
Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it?
Oh, well, this model is yes, but a real airplane would actually fly high in the sky.
While suspended from somewhere even higher up in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in midair unsupported.
So to you, the solution is even ever taller towers.
Yes, what next? Is Ryunosuke going to say that the train's going to be pulled by a really big horse? Okay, let's check this out.
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruto. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it from the Crown and the government.
Yes, and everyone else is investigating it. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back.
It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellows. No loose change dropped on the floor, nothing. Not even a bone for Toby here, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they?
I think that's just these two, Mr. Zato. Crossbow arrows. Just bolts. This is a European-style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside.
Oh, do you suppose?
Crossbow bolts are those. And just the right size of the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words, yup, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of this whole scam. The details have been added. The ladder. Oh, we can't investigate the ladder. Okay, we can't investigate the wardrobe. Okay, let's go up. Okay, we can't scan that. God that they let us go up, and yet we can't really check it out. We already checked the base. This door doesn't want to be opened. Yeah, looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it. Sorry. I can't read apparently. I get my voices mixed up. I'm getting my wires crossed. There's a specialist locksmith on his way here from the yard, so hands off till he gets here.
With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock opened in less than a minute with a big rock.
Well, you don't have permission. I know what's giving it to you. Gregson looks as though he really enjoyed that.
Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side.
No, Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger. Okay.
Oh.
Is something wrong, Susato?
Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too?
Yeah, I heard it all. What do you reckon, Toby? Right, mind the grace. Whoever's in there, open up! This is Scotland Yard! And I fear, and don't you try and fight tricks! I don't fear death! My life is controlled by a 10-year-old girl! And after I don't fear death.
Oh my! Someone is in there!
Ark! This rotten blatant look!
My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago. If only it were contented, I could unlock that door in less than a minute.
Fine, I'll take the rat for it. Just get us through that blasted door.
There! You made it dead, Will.
You confused minutes with seconds, I think.
Time is the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? I had a big rock, Mr. Naruto, so of course I can open the lock.
Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency.
There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow.
Yes. What's happening here? Why is everything upside down?
Rats! There ain't no one in here after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises.
Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away.
But there's only one door into this room.
And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. What if he had a stepladder? What's that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling? Blow me! What have we here then? Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what? To that Professor Highbrain's bombing machine it is! The machine that basically that blasts people with his death rays! The machine that makes him want to not touch grass for some reason! Blimey! If we had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal.
There's something really interesting here, too.
I found his porno! This rope is lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that?
It shows that he was into BDSM, Mr. Naruto. Mr. Enoch Drebber is a very, very eccentric man in the bedroom. He's a man of art and science. I mean, look at his photo, Mr. Naruto. Look at this man's physique. Look at his figure, his essence. This is a man who does strange things in the bedroom. He is a distant yet also selfless lover, as you can plainly see, Mr. Naruto. Look into those dead eyes of his. Those eyes are devoid of all life except giving you pleasure, Mr. Naruto, with his ropes. Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruto. He must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensics investigation team arrive, too.
Which we'll do in the next episode. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. Without seeing you next time. Bye.